Today I'm traveling from Toronto Pearson to London Heathrow Airport on Air Canada Flight 848. While we aren't at the beginning of the pandemic, we certainly aren't at the end, so I wanted to share my travel experiences after airlines have had more time to make changes to their services. This flight was mid-July during the COVID-19 pandemic. Pulling up to the airport, it was much quieter than it would normally be at 7:30 in the evening. There was only one door open that people could use to enter the airport, with the rest of the doors being blocked off. Toronto Pearson has restricted people entering the airport to travelers only, but I didn't actually see this rule being enforced. Inside the airport was just as quiet as outside. After entering, I was asked to put on hand sanitizer and then directed to check in and bag drop. Both were very quick and had no lines, as there weren't that many people traveling. I had my one and only temperature check during this journey, just before security. Security combined all domestic and international passengers, but was very quick with no lines. After going through security, I turned left and then walked for around 15 minutes to get to my departure gate. It was incredibly quiet going through the airport, and the only other people I saw on my walk were airport staff. Some of the shops were open, including the Burberry and Ferragamo, as well as the duty-free store with souvenirs and other necessities. All of the food stores were closed, including the Starbucks. It was a weird feeling walking to the departure gates and seeing so few people. Everyone that I did see kept their mask on and were able to socially distance. The only people in the departure area were waiting for the same flight. While food stores were closed, the seating areas and washrooms remained open. When checking my passport and boarding card, the gate agent also asked to see my completed passenger locator form. The UK government requires that everyone arriving in the UK have this completed during the pandemic. Boarding was by group number. After I was seated, the flight attendants distributed their standard disposable earbuds, as well as Air Canada's Clean Care Plus kits, which are new in this pandemic. Each kit contained a bottle of water, gloves, an individually wrapped mask, 2 sanitizing wipes, and a small bottle of hand sanitizer. It is worth noting that the wipes and hand sanitizer were not alcohol-based and instead used benzalkonium chloride. This is the same active ingredient found in many other disinfecting wipes such as Lysol. The plane was not full at all. The forward cabin of economy, where I was originally seated, was slightly busier. However, it was easy to move further back to have a full row to myself, which I did prior to takeoff. In addition to the usual safety demonstration, the flight attendants reminded passengers to keep their masks on for the whole flight, except when eating and drinking, and to limit the time spent walking and standing in the aisles. The lavatory was the same as in non-pandemic times, nothing added or taken away. Around 30 minutes after a quick takeoff, the cabin lights were dimmed and the flight attendants started the meal and drink service, which was bottled water only and a pre-packed boxed meal. The box contained corn crackers, a vegan chocolate chip cookie, a baggie of chocolate, nuts, and cranberries, a slice of cheese, and a turkey wrap. It also came with plastic cutlery and 2 sanitizing wipes. After sleeping for a couple of hours, I woke up to blue skies above the Atlantic Ocean. An hour and 15 minutes before landing, the flight attendants started the morning meal and drink service, which again was bottled water only and a pre-packed boxed meal. The breakfast box had a chocolate granola bar, a fruit cup, a baggie of chocolate, nuts, and cranberries, and a cheese and lettuce croissant. It also came with cutlery and 2 sanitizing wipes. Aside from meal services, the flight attendants, wearing gloves, masks, and sometimes aprons or gowns, walked through the cabin a few times during the flight to collect any garbage. As we started our descent into Heathrow, we had some nice views of the English countryside and London. Overall, this flight experience was better than I expected. Of course, it's best not to fly during a pandemic if not needed, but I thought Air Canada did a good job of limiting contact between flight attendants and passengers. While it wasn't always possible to maintain distance from others on this flight, every passenger that I could see kept their masks on. It also helps that the flight was emptier, as most, if not all passengers, could have had their own row to maintain distance while seated. After landing, everyone disembarked quickly, given that there weren't many passengers. There was no attempt at leaving the plane by groups or waiting for those seated ahead. It wasn't possible to maintain distance when leaving the plane, but there was none of that pushing and shoving that might usually go on when disembarking. Walking through Heathrow Airport, I noticed there were hand sanitizer dispensers along the walls, although I'm not sure if that's new. I made my way through Terminal 2 to transfer to Terminal 5, where I had a connecting flight later in the day. If you'd like to learn more about my experience going through UK border control, transferring terminals, and flying British Airways to Edinburgh during a pandemic, then please watch the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching!